Confessions of a Doctorholic with Hassa Slayman, and yous requested her again and again and again. The queen of one-liners is on air. Anita, how are you today?
Good, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. So, you've had an interesting night.
Yes, I did. Okay, so I'm on my OB rotation, and let me tell you, this night, it was crazy. Like, it was too much.
Okay.
It was too much for me. So,
Right.
there were 3 patients giving birth that night, and all of them hemorrhaged, which that means if you let out more than a liter of blood, that's considered, like, postpartum hemorrhaging. You estimate it first, and then they have, like, the actual blood loss. They'll collect, like, all of the laps and, like, the bowls that the person bled into, and, like, the placenta, just anything with blood on it, and then they will say how much it actually was, but then in the moment, the doctor or the resident will say how much they think the person lost, and then, like, just comparing. They're usually good at eyeballing it, but it depends on the situation. So the first patient, her husband was so sweet. Like, he kept getting a towel and putting it on her head, and he was, like, talking to her, like, you can do this, like, you can do this, right? And he fainted, so that was something to deal with.
Oh my God, did he hit his head on the floor, or did he have a second patient?
No, we didn't have a second patient. So he fell to the ground, but we got him a stool because he wanted to participate in the birth, which is great. But yeah, he fainted. And so the reason why she hemorrhaged, so the baby is supposed to come out, like, when it's in the vaginal vault, it's just supposed to come out. But the baby's head kept, like, coming back into, almost like it was trying to get sucked back into her uterus. And she kept pushing and pushing, but it wouldn't come out. And it was sitting there for, like, 30 minutes. And it's not supposed to be there for that long. Yeah, it's not supposed to be there for that long. And at a point, one of the doctors was like, I'm going to grab the head and pull the baby out. Or maybe we need to go get someone else to help, like, to give her a cut, right? And so finally they were able to get the baby's head out. But then, like, afterwards, she just started bleeding. They were able to, like, stitch her up because it wasn't a huge bleed. Because she actually bled the least out of all of the patients. Hers was about 1 liter. And so then on to the next patient. Oh my God. This patient, her boyfriend, I could not stand him. Because here's what happened. I could not stand him. We walked into the room.
Okay, you have to tell us why. Why couldn't you stand him?
Why couldn't I stand him? Okay, so there are lots of men who come in saying things that they have no business saying while their wives and girlfriends are in labor. Like, you're making such a big deal out of this. It's not a big deal. Or, do I have to be here for this? Or, why are you screaming so much? It's not, like, things like that. Like, making it downplaying and not helping the situation. Like, there's one guy.
What did he say?
What did he say? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so when we came in the room, it was like midnight, and she was just like, I feel like I'm about to poop, that's usually the signal for the baby's coming out. So I was like, oh, no, not yet. We have to go get an OB. So then she was telling her boyfriend, she was like, hey, wake up, like, the baby's coming. She's like, do I have to? Do I have to get up? And I was thinking, yes, you have to get up. You impregnated her. The least you can do is wake up. And so then I was looking for the OB because I told you there was one time I wasn't sure what to do because, like, a baby was coming and I was like, I'm not allowed to catch this baby. And I was like, where's the doctor? And I was, like, kind of running around with like a chicken with my head off. I knew where to go now. She was in the call room. But anyway, so I went to go get her, and the patient, she didn't have to push very hard, which is great, but she pushed probably like 5 times and the baby came out. So it was good, but then the placenta has to detach in order for birth to be done, or else you can, like, start bleeding due to retained products. You can get infections and stuff like that.
Yeah. For all of you listeners out there, just to, like, if you don't know, like, what the birthing process is like, first the baby comes out and then the placenta comes out, and that's what Anita's telling us right now.
It's the sac that a bunch of, like, rich ladies like to eat or bury in their backyards or turn into pills, like,
or use on their skin.
Yes,
apparently it helps.
On their skin. Really?
I mean, that's what I heard.
I've never given birth. Oh, okay. I have no idea. Like, I've never given birth, but I feel like that will be the first and last time I would want to see the placenta. Like, why? You know? But
honestly, I am all for it. Like, it's got stem cells
really?
in it. I don't know the science. Yeah, freaking earth. I mean, I might not drink it. I feel like that's a bit much. It reminds me of, you know that show Ginny and Georgia on Netflix?
Yes. Oh, I love that show.
I'm pretty sure, like from memory, on one of the episodes, she mixes in her placenta into like one of the smoothies or something. I reckon that's nasty.
Oh my God.
I wouldn't be able to hack that. In terms of like putting it on my face and harvesting stem cells, freaking earth. I'll like experiment on my placenta.
Okay, like harvesting stem cells is one thing. I mean, like ingesting it, like, you know, I don't want to eat anything that was in my body.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I didn't know about the stem cell thing, but I'll look into that. But either way, like when it comes out, it's a membrane that's super bloody, and there may be blood clots in it. When you clean it, it's like grayish white, you know. And so
yeah, it's not pretty. That's
no,
sure. It's
not pretty. But you want to make sure it's not ripped, because if it's ripped, then that's like a whole other mess of problems. But so what had happened, like she gave birth, we put the baby on her chest, because you do the skin to you do skin to skin. And she was just saying, like, I'm so proud of this baby, like this is so great, I'm so proud of what we created. And the boyfriend's just like sitting over her like, yeah, I'm like, you can provide a little more enthusiasm. I was happy that the mom was there, because like the mom was like making up for it too. So it was like grandma and the girl who's giving birth, and then she had her baby, and like he was just so unenthusiastic in the process. I was just like, dude, why? Just anyway. So
was she young? Was
yes.
she a young or like? Okay.
Yeah, she they're both very young, and so okay. I feel like I haven't seen a lot of young like patients like that, because usually it'll just be like the mom and the grandma who come in. But like as a couple, young people, I was like, you knew what was gonna happen here. You can at least be somewhat supportive. Her body is going through literal hell right now, you know? And so yeah, they were young. And so then the doctor was like, you can take the placenta out. But since she was preterm, which is before 37 weeks, I had to massage her placenta. I had to give her a uterine massage, which is very uncomfortable. If you get epidural, you won't feel it as much. Well, if you have epidural, you'll feel the pressure, but you won't feel pain. So I was giving her the massage, and this woman, she was like of higher BMI. So I had to like really like get in there. The reason why this matters is because it gave me such a, like, you have to like massage it like really hard, like full strength, in order to try and get the placenta to detach. So I massaged her uterus, it felt like, for 45 minutes. Well, not 45 minutes, maybe like 30 minutes. And it just would not detach. Like it was detaching little by little, but not really. And if you pull on it and it breaks, then that provides a whole other mess of problems. But then she was like,
oh my God.
Yeah, I was like massaging. She's like, oh, this feels good. And then I was like, you're the first person I've ever heard say that this feels good. And then like 20 minutes into the massage, everyone's like, this hurts. Why are you doing this to me? And it's like, sorry.
She's probably like deprived of massages. So she's like, yes, finally, free massage.
That's probably why, because I was like, how does this feel good to you? But then she was like, I'm gonna throw up. And I was like, no, please don't do this. And then she started, like, she had her baby on her chest. She started throwing up. Like, her mom's holding the gag bag, like the gagging bag. She's throwing up. She's holding her baby. We're still massaging her. And we're like, we can't get rid of this placenta. And so the doctor takes her entire, like, forearm. She takes her entire forearm and, like, starts just ripping the placenta off of the uterus. And so then she just starts bleeding. She probably bled, it was like 1.3 liters of blood. And she was just bleeding. She bled all over me because I was trying to get her placenta out, and she bled all over the doctor. And so then she finally stopped throwing up. She was like getting fevers as well during this process. She finally stopped throwing up when we got the placenta out of her. And then she looked at us. She was like, y'all look like you just came out of a murder scene. And I was like, okay. I was thinking, like, I'm glad that's over, you know, because this one felt a lot more chaotic than the other one. I had never done it was a lot going on, and like the smell of vomit is just never good. So then and so then the third one was like the scariest one for me. So right now, let's say it's 2:00 in the morning, and the next patient, she wants to like give birth. She's also telling us like, you know, I need to poop. So we're like, okay, like get the doctor. And, you know, hers was supposed to be like an easy birth. She was a bit older. She wasn't advanced maternal age yet, but she was like getting up there. This is her first birth, you know, so it was gonna take a little while longer. She had just started her first stage of labor when I got on my shift. Anyway, so we went into the room, and she's able to push the baby out. Like on general inspection, the birth looks fine, right? But then, yeah, like when you just look, it was fine. You took the placenta out. Like I was able to take the placenta out easier because she was term, which is like over 37 weeks. So you can just kind of like give the placenta a tug and like make sure you have the suprapubic pressure, or else the uterus will come out with it, which is a scary thought. But yeah, so we were able to pull it out and stuff. And then she just started bleeding, and she just kept bleeding. And so they were like, oh, she has a laceration. Let's like sew up the laceration. Nope, she just kept bleeding. They laid her back further because they were looking for the cuts and stuff, and like they were not lacerating. They were like sewing up the tiny lacerations that she had, and it just would not stop bleeding. They were pressing on her uterus to try and get it to stop, but it was like a fire hose, like of blood. It just, yeah, it was like a fire hose of blood. It was just like coming out, and I'm not squeamish around blood. I don't mind blood. I actually would love to. I love participating in surgeries and stuff. But like at 2:30 in the morning, I was just like, I'm going to be nauseous. This is way too much blood for me. And then I feel like as a woman, you have visceral pain when this is happening, you know?
Oh, 100%. So yeah. I was telling people on the podcast about the episiotomy that I've seen. So I literally, I'm standing in there. I crossed my legs. Because it's just like, I mean, I don't know what it is about it. I think it's the equivalent of, you know, when a guy gets hit in the nuts and every single guy has an audible gasp. I reckon this is the equivalent for girls. Because like when I saw the whole birthing, like my first time seeing a natural delivery, I felt violated personally. Like even though it wasn't my child, it wasn't my body, it was just scary.
Yeah, no,
I'm definitely not getting pregnant anytime soon. Like I've made that decision.
Especially like based off of some of the men that I've seen, I'm like, partner has to be very supportive, because I can't imagine going through all of that and like you're also
induce a fake pregnancy. That would be that. I don't know how to trap a guy to find out if he's supportive. So like, I guess induce a fake pregnancy and then just gauge his reaction.
Oh my god. No, I feel like there are loads of red flags before that happens. So it just depends on whether you see red flags or six flags, you know?
Watch people stop listening to me after what I confess to. Sorry. I'm not a psycho, I promise.
Yeah, please negate what Hafsa said. Also, do not try this at home. Do not try that.